asked my wife 2,000 questions or so in a 2-week span when we were dating. Back to back to back to back to back to back to back.
Now, I know if that was a lot of us, like my friends and people I know, but I'm not texting back no more because at this point, what is it? But it works. It works.
But that's what I mean when I say y'all, there's a lack of patience. Like,
Yeah.
really, the first couple of dates are an interview. And I've heard, and I've seen young people say, don't put me on no interview, say an interrogation when you beat me. Yes, it is. I'm interrogating you to make sure you're right for my life. I'm interviewing you to make sure you are right to be a part of my life. So I need to get to know you. The best way I can get to know you is to quiz you. I know people say it comes out through natural conversation, but if you don't know how to listen, you'll miss it. So let me give you question after question, and don't just give the normal questions that people hear all the time and have answers ready for, like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? No, I give abstract questions. I'm gonna give y'all 2 that you can ask, and it'll mess people up when they hear it. So the first one is, if you could be any animal, real or fictional, what would you be and why? And when they give you the answer to the animal that they give, remember that animal. Go back and look it up. Find out the character traits of this animal. The characteristics of this animal are the characteristics that I identify with. And you have to be able to figure out, can you put up with those characteristics? Like I did counseling last year between two people who I know who are no longer together as a result of this counseling. Well, I asked them to answer that question. And the man said he identified with the silverback. I said, okay.
That's a whale, right?
Silverback's a gorilla.
Oh, what?
I'm gonna need you to get that one together.
Is there a whale called a something back?
The humpback whale?
No, just be quiet. Okay.
So when I looked at some of the characteristics of the silverback, they are an intelligent leader, but they are very, very dominating. Everybody in their tribe, they fall subject to the silverback gorilla. Like, it's so powerful that if that silverback dies, they will wander off until they find another silverback to submit to. What he says goes, where he says goes. This is how it's going to be. Well, the person he was trying to be with was a penguin. That ain't how they operate. I mean, this ain't gonna work. I didn't tell them it ain't gonna work, but I let them know the different characteristics that they're identifying with, and how there can be some conflict. So when you know how to hear a person's question or how to hear the answer to that question, you can then think about, oh snap, I don't like that characteristic. Can I deal with this if this is for the rest of my life? Then the second question I always ask is if a bird and a fish fell in love, where would they live? And that is simply a question to determine how far outside the box the person is willing to go to in order to make something work.
A bird and a fish.
Yeah. So let me ask you, since a bird and a fish fell in love, where would you say they live?
A bird and a fish. Okay. So they're going to have to live right where the sand in the water is.
Okay.
You know, at the beach. There's the sand right there, then the little pelicans. That's what they're called.
Okay.
Because, you know, I don't know my animals, obviously. Okay, so then, you know, they're right there on the sand and the fish is in the water. So sometimes the water brings them up on the sand and it goes back. And the bird, he can still walk in the water a little bit until it covers him up. So I'm going to say right there on the shore.
Okay. And a lot of people have said that. I have heard answers like, well, some birds can sit underwater for a quick second and the fish has to come up and they live half on. And I've always said, I never said what kind of bird or what kind of fish. So what about ducks? What about swans? They stay on the water consistently. And so they're staying on the water consistently. All the fish has to do is swim just a little bit and they can be able to be together. But how you process that and your immediate thought process shows how far outside the box you're willing to go to make something work, because in every relationship you're going to come across something you've never thought you'd come across. Can you think outside the box enough to make it work, or will you go off of every cliche you've ever heard and how your mama said do it and how daddy said and his examples on television, your friends? Will you go to that, or will you say, I need to make this work, how can I figure out a way to make this work?
Okay, yeah. All right, and then lastly, if you want to share a little bit about the assignment that I still didn't do.
I know you didn't do it because I ain't heard it about it.
But I don't know. And I did go on a date too, but I didn't do it. I know. But go ahead and tell them. I know. So in 2019, maybe for the people who feel like, okay, this is my year, I might find a little husband, wife, whatever you're trying to do. What do you think they should do?
Okay, so I gave her this assignment. I've given to anybody I've ever counseled, and I've been counseling relationships for God knows how long. It's been some years, like well over a decade. And God gave to me this way to help people understand some things about who they're dealing with. So most people know about making lists, and they know about making 2 lists. You make the list of everything you want in a person, and everything you don't want. I say make 3 lists. Now, the first 2 lists are the lists you're used to. Everything you want, everything you don't want. Here's the problem. Once again, y'all go too shallow. I want a man who's tall, dark, and handsome. What's tall to you? The average height in this country is for a man is I think is 5'9", 5'10", maybe 5'11", somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot shorter than what you would think. So if the average height, let's say, is 5'10", and they're 5'11", that may be short to you because you may be looking for 6'2", thinking tall. But 5'10" is tall. 5'11" is considered tall. So what's tall to you? You said dark. Okay, cool. Are we talking blue, black, African dark? Like Wesley Snipes dark? We talking Denzel Washington dark? What kind of dark are we talking about? And then what's handsome to you? What kind of things are you looking for in the feature? So I say be detailed. When you tell me, or when you tell your list, because you ain't telling me, when you tell your list, I want this, be specific. What do you find funny? What do you find attractive? When you say you want a man who's a protector, what do you mean by protecting? What's protection considered like to you? Like I know some young ladies will always say, I don't want no violent men. Okay, cool. So y'all get married. You don't want no violent man. Remember this now. You get married. Y'all lay in the bed. You hear some noise in the house at night. And now he holding on to you holding on to him, and ain't nobody going downstairs to see what's going on because you don't want no violent man now. You said that. So what is considered non-violent to you? What you really mean is you don't want no man hitting on you. Well, I know there's some things out there you'll discover later on in life, depending what's considered hitting. A pat on the butt to some is hitting. Well, you don't want that. What is it that you want? Be specific. Very specific, and I'll be raw with y'all. Hopefully your audience is okay with it.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Y'all supposed to be grown. I've even told young ladies, and I ain't saying this to try to be crazy. Nia know me. She would have brought me on if I was like to. But I always say, even if you know the kind of size you want him to be, you know what I'm doing, or the drive you want him to be, you need to write that down. This list is only for your eyes. So write those things down. The Bible says write the vision, make a plan. So you write the vision down so you can see what it is that you want. Same thing with what you don't want in a man. Be just as specific with that. Now those 2 are the things that we're used to. Just go deeper. The list nobody really ever deals with that you need to make sure you write, and it's going to be your hardest list, is you want to write down what you're willing to tolerate. Relationships is all about compromise. What thing is not going to be a deal breaker that you really don't like, but you're willing to put up with? So some women will say, I don't want a smoker. Okay, cool. He's not a heavy smoker. He smokes twice a day. Mm-hmm. Can you handle that? Some men will say, well, I don't like a woman who shops. Okay. This particular woman, she shops, but she shops sparingly. She splurges sparingly and only with her own money. Can you handle that? What are the things that you are really willing to tolerate? And the reason you need that is because it's an investigation of you. I always say you should never ask for someone to bring something to the table you don't already have. I can't ask for you to be educated and I'm stupid. Mm-hmm. I can't ask for you to bring money to the table and I ain't working, ain't got no money. You need to be able to bring to the table what you're asking for. And this will force you to look at you and say, if I were dating me, would I date me? The way I am right now. So what things am I willing to tolerate? Then for y'all spiritual folk, when you make these 3 lists, I always get the recommendation, once a week, pray over this list. And say, God, whatever you want, this is what I have. Whatever you want to do, do it. And what you'll find is over time, you'll start to see things coming off of the what I want list and going on to the what I don't want list. Things are going off the what I don't want list and they'll make it to the what I want list or the what I want to tolerate list. God will rearrange your list.
Mm-hmm.
Go on a 30-day sabbatical of dating if you're dating. You need 30 days of dealing with nothing but this list. After that 30th day, you're free to try to date. When you go on your first date with somebody, before you go on this date, write down 10 questions, at least 10. You write down 10 questions. And don't make them, don't allow them to be multiple choice questions. Make them essay type questions. And when they come to, for the women, when the men come to pick you up, notice I said when they come to pick you up. Y'all men need to start get back to picking women up. That's another issue. I got old people issues too. Hand them the questions. Don't tell them why they answer the questions. I would like you to answer these questions real quick for me. Have them answer them. If they're not willing to answer those questions, they're not worth dating. A man should be willing and desiring to go through whatever hoops it is he needs to go through to be able to get with you because you are the prize.
So what about the other way?
Okay.
The same?
So men, when you go to pick up these women, ask them to answer these questions. They don't want to answer the questions, yes, they're also not willing to date. They're not worthy to be dating you. Because all you're doing is you're trying to get some of these things out of the way. You're not going to tell them if they're right or wrong. That's not for them to know, it's for you. Women need to answer the questions because, man, you need to understand who you're dealing with. Not only who you're dealing with, if they're not willing to answer the questions for you and you want them to be your wife, how can they ever show themselves to be willing to follow your lead if they won't answer some questions for you before the date? How can these men ever prove themselves worthy enough to do whatever it takes to get you if they won't answer these questions? So once they've answered the question, fold up the paper, put it in your pocket, put it in your purse, whatever you got, go on the date, have a good time. When you get back from having that date, take that list of questions and mark it against your list. By the way, I forgot to say the question should come from your list. And what you need to do is for everything every answer that they put that is on your do not want list, check it off. They need to get an 80% or better, which means they can only get, in the 10 question thing, they can only get 2 before they out.
Oh.
C is a passing grade, but when I was coming up, a C was average.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want nobody who's average. If you believe you're exceptional, you want somebody else who's exceptional, so they need to give you exceptional answers.
Mm-hmm.
If they get an 80 or better, they have shown themselves worthy enough to go a second date.
Okay, y'all heard that. Do it. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But I should have done it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I should have done it. I don't know.
How did that date go?
It was fun. Yeah, he's nice. If he watches this, he don't think, she talking about me.
I probably should have waited till your podcast over to ask that question. My bad.
Thank you for sharing with my beautiful people. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a lot, because I always learn a lot, and I thought it would be beneficial to share with you all. So when you go into 2019, do your list. You know. Yes, do your list. Be strategic. Ask your questions, all that stuff, okay? I wish you guys the best. And I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and Pastor Jesse, do you want to tell them how they can, hear some of your messages? Certainly. So I'm the pastor of High Praise Ministries. I'll make it quick. You can follow us on Facebook at High Praise Ministries. Our services are every Saturday at noon. We live stream the broadcast. It's on Facebook. You can also follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/simplygreat. I also post the messages there, an edited version of the messages, as well as some other things. Or you can follow us on Twitter at Real High Praise. Oh, you got a Twitter? Yeah. I'm trying to get a little better. Trying to go better with it. Okay. Well, again, thank you, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed. See you soon. Okay. Bye, guys.